Bluecoats ended the first decade of the millennium with an all-time high placement, landing in third place for the first time in Corps history. Metropolis, The Future Is Now, sets marks for scoring and placement and put the drum corps world on notice that there was a new powerhouse in town. But it would take a few years for the Corps to hit on all cylinders to maintain contender status.
I think the big thing with 2011 was that as hard as we tried not to imitate what we had done in 2010, we kind of fell into the trap of, using the same tricks.
But at the same time, we also had like one of the favorite moments of that year with the Creep. And that was so well received that, it was sort of, sometimes it was balancing a high between having that amazing moment that everyone was talking about that summer and also sort of the realities of where we were competitively.
At that point, and we learned a lot, I think, just going from 2010 and whatever success we experienced that year and then trying to replicate it in the same way, possibly like with the same methods in 2011 and realize maybe the method, it's just learning thing for the design team and ultimately the Corps, in terms of how we put shows together and how we move from year to year.
While the on-field program continued to enthrall audiences in the first few years of the decade, it was off the field that more growth was occurring.
One of the biggest changes has just been the number of people that we are able to have involved. And part of that's because of funding, and part of that's because of the way that we've changed our travel and the available vehicles that we have. And part of that's just a growth in the number of people who have really been interested in staying involved or becoming involved over the years. We went from a let's say 15, 20 years ago, a very skeleton staff of administrators, both at camps and here in Canton and on the road, to a pretty large and more professional staff.
In 2011, Bluecoats purchased the former Knights of Columbus Hall in North Canton and moved its bingo operations there. That building would also be rented for banquets and special events, adding a new revenue stream to the organization. In 2016, a third night of bingo would be added to that facility.
I was calling bingo one night, and we've had some ups and downs in bingo over the years, and it's a huge, important fundraiser for the organization. And we were in one of those down years, and we were thinking about what can we do to, kickstart this thing again. And so kind of what we came up with was, well, what if we, is there a way that we could buy our own facility and do more with it than just bingo? Or could we really, truly make the bingo game what we want it to be? Because we were renting a facility before, and it worked out great, but just to have our own space to be able to develop in any way we wanted to, really, was what we thought we needed to do in order to kind of kickstart.
Further expanding its reach, Bluecoats continued operation of a locally based independent regional winter guard called Artistry in Blue that started in 2009. A crowd favorite like Bluecoats, Artistry won fan favorite at WGI twice in the decade. In 2014, the organization supported a first-of-its-kind standing alumni ensemble called Rhythm in Blue, performing at the 2 home shows each season. And in 2016, that group began competing in Drum Corps International's Sound Sport division, earning a gold medal in 3 of its 4 appearances through 2019. In 2013, the NFL Cleveland Browns approached Bluecoats to start and manage the team's drum line, which performs at each home game and special events throughout the season. In 2014, the NBA Cleveland Cavaliers in turn began a relationship with Bluecoats to operate and manage Cue Sticks, the highly acclaimed in-game performance ensemble that lasted through 2019. The organization also began a program partnership with the Canton nonprofit Enrichment to provide percussion instruction to underserved youth in Stark County. Another Winter Guard unit was established by 2018, but this one of world-class caliber. Bluecoats Indoor took an unconventional look at the indoor color guard activity while maintaining the Bluecoat tradition of scoring high with the fans in the stands, qualifying for WGI finals in 2018 and 2019. The on-field program saw a major change in 2013 as a new design team came together, and they brought a new look to the field while ushering in the beginnings of a new and unconventional use of set pieces. The first program of this new design group, To Look for America, featured bleachers used in creative and manipulative ways. While the final placement saw the Corps finish 5th, the die had been cast for the future. The staging of a drum corps show would become a Bluecoats hallmark for the rest of the activity and strongly influence the entire drum corps world.
Remember when they asked about the idea of using bleachers, I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. This was Jim and John's first season with us, which was a huge turning point. And the first time I saw that manipulation of these devices, I thought, well, I will never not believe in these guys again.
I think finally this decade we were able to put together the right team of people, designers, instructors, that really truly got us to a championship caliber performance level. And like in any business, like in any organization, it's the people that you have is by far your most important resource. And getting the right combination of people that have chemistry is extremely important. And I think in this decade we were finally able to do that.
2014's Tilt became an instant fan favorite and still resonates at decade's end as one of Bluecoats, if not the activity's favorite programs. Literally tilting the field on its side, the program grew stronger throughout the summer and astonished the crowd at Lucas Oil Stadium on finals night by leaping over the cadets to land in second place.
And I think what happened is we knew that we were onto something early on in the season. You can tell when a show is right because you can just feel it. It feels like it goes over in a blink of an eye. It's that fast. And you just make these little tiny changes until all of a sudden it kind of goes and it feels as one. And that's really what happened. That and the membership. You know, they bought in completely. By that point, we were able to really communicate with our audience, which is what kind of we're about. And what the energy that the audience gave us, we fed off of that. And I think that's what pushed us from the middle of the season, and especially at finals night. I mean, people were, you know, they lost their mind. I've never seen anything like that in drum corps up to that point.
Kinetic Noise in 2015 explored new directions in electronics and scattered advanced speaker systems around the field as part of the staging of the show. While stepping back a spot and finishing in third place, the corps found itself closer to the first place corps than it did in 2014's silver medal finish. But the activity was not prepared for what the Bluecoats would bring to the field in 2016. In one of the best kept secrets in the activity's history, Bluecoats kept a major uniform change completely secret until they came through the tunnel to take the field on opening night. Gone was the traditional drum corps style uniform, replaced with a more costumed look. Also gone was the iconic helmet, which might have been controversial if not for the magic that happened on the field.
That show opens with the horn line running out from behind the set and just immediately beginning with this beautiful dance moment in their, you know, tight white costumes. That is the defining moment for us and for the drum corps activity, because that forever changed what drum corps looks and feels like, and it was an opportunity for us to sort of make that statement.
And, you know, everybody's told, well, you got to wear hats because it makes them look taller, and it's all perspective from the audience and stuff like that. And so we said, well, maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's exactly wrong. And that it was really that. It was really trying to match the look to what the show was. Yeah. And so it was just an honest, you know, it was an honest portrayal of what's going on the field.
2016's Downside Up literally flipped the drum corps activity on its head as members climbed and slid down two-story curved props that moved throughout the production. The music grabbed fans from start to finish and brought a new element of showmanship to the activity that felt like old-time drum corps and something wonderfully new at the same time. Call it a wink to the past with a nod to the future.
I remember personally being terrified about losing the helmet, which in retrospect sounds really silly, but I've been here long enough to know what those traditions mean to the group. So that particular show where we changed the costuming drastically, we lost the helmet, we presented the group in a different way, we used electronics in a different way, we used trombones, oh my God. And it worked, and it all worked, and that was an awesome summer, and obviously being rewarded for that was really satisfying. I was really, really happy for the organization, proud of the organization, and I think you can see the ripple effect in the whole activity since that summer.
The season ended with Bluecoats as world champions, the first in the Corps' history, and only the 10th Corps to wear the Champions Gold Medal in DCI history. Rather than try to work within the same formula, the 2017 and 2018 Bluecoats programs reached out in different directions. Jagged Line incorporated a massive 3-story stage that alternately elevated and hid elements of the core while exploring new horizons in how a horn line could artistically move with and without the instrument. Session 44 investigated the use of a live vocalist while manipulating chairs as props, both individually with regular-sized chairs and massive 12-foot chairs that turned and tilted. The 2018 uniform again took an atypical look as individualized uniforms were worn by the Corps. But it was the 2019 Bluecoats that stood atop the decade as having the show for the ages. For only the second time in DCI Finals history, a drum corps explored the music of the Beatles as a full show. The first, in fact, was the 1992 Bluecoats. The 2019 program, titled The Bluecoats, brought the feel of the ultimate Beatles show to fans across the country. The Corps won 26 of the 31 contests that season on a long and winding road that would see the Corps miss its second championship by .087, one of the closest second-place finishes in DCI history.
And I think the other thing too is our endeavor to give them a show that they enjoy performing, like beyond the competitive aspects, something that connects with audiences, something that connects with them as performers, and there's a sense of honesty and it feels natural the way that they express it, and it feels, it feels good, and they want to do it. And I think that's attracting people to that kind of vibe.
As the 5th decade of Bluecoats competing in DCI came to a close, the Corps had finished in every place in top 12 in its history, a feat only matched by one other Corps. In the 2010s, Bluecoats medaled 6 times, with 3 bronze, 2 silver, and 1 gold medal finish. It's the only Corps in the history of the activity to win a world championship after folding up its operation.
I think I'm lucky because the organization, especially the design team that we have here, it's always trying to find what's the next new thing for us. Not just us individually, but us as a Corps, and then us inside of this activity. And I think that drives us. We're not competitively based at all. There's no inspiration really in competition for us. It comes from curiosity and just the drive to find out what's next and how what's next can affect our audience.
In 2004, Bluecoats hired a full-time director and within a few years had 3 full-time employees. As 2020 arrives, Bluecoats now has 6 employees and has transitioned from an executive director to a CEO and a CFO/COO. What was once a $250,000 operating budget in the 90s is now nearly $2.5 million. Appointed in the fall of 2018, Mike Scott and Genevieve Geisler head an operation that has seen thousands of participants and entertained hundreds of thousands in what's about to be the organization's 50th anniversary in 2022.
Another thing I think that made our growth possible, it wasn't just money, it was sort of our intellectual property, if you will, of the staff and designers that we retained and continued to hire throughout the decade that brought us some of the groundbreaking ideas that we are kind of known for at this point as we move into the next decade. And those have allowed our growth as a brand, our growth as a program for our students, and even financial growth when it comes to selling merchandise and other financial opportunities that have all kind of been part of the same growth structure throughout the past 10 years.
One of the reasons that the Bluecoats organization has enjoyed this decade and so much competitive success and so much artistic success is because we were sort of willing to just be what we wanted to be creatively. And that's tough. It's really tough because so much about our activity is about doing the same and about being the same. And it's hard to kind of stand out and be like, no, this is what we think.
While established traditions such as the Silver Penny, Autumn Leaves, the Boxer, Gunther, and 6 Words remain an important part of the organization's past, Bluecoats have always had their eyes on the future, and they continue to be the best they can be.
I think that we're fearless. The Bluecoats are fearless. to try and find the next new thing.
I think it's the people and the combination of people. They're treated very well, and they eat well, they sleep well, we take good care of them. We take good care of each other, and that's what makes it the Bluecoats to me. You know, people talk about the sound, the look, and all that, and that changes, it evolves. That's no reason to stay with the group. It's the people and the care and consideration we have for each other that makes the Bluecoats what it is.
I think it really has truly always been about the people involved in the organization. It's been about our value of people that have participated in any way all through our history. It's cliche, we say it all the time, but it is true, and that is family. You know, once someone joins this organization, they're included. They're a part of it. They're forever a part of it. And so I think that's one of the things that people are attracted to the Bluecoats for, is the fact that we welcome everybody in with open arms. And so once you're a part of our family, you stay a part of our family. So I think that even though the product on the field has changed dramatically over the years, of what you see, you know, during the summer at our performances has changed, that sense of family has not changed, and I don't think will ever change.